Woman of the Hour is out in theaters here in Poland, and I believe in most other countries it's expected to come out on Netflix relatively soon. Directorial debut of Anna Kendrick, who also stars in the film alongside Daniel Zovato. This is based on a true story, and as it sometimes happens with these, some of the details are so wild that if it wasn't real, you'd probably say the writing is too unbelievable, too far-fetched. The movie follows a young woman named Cheryl, played by Anna Kendrick. She's an aspiring actress in 1978 Los Angeles, struggling to land a job, eventually agrees to go on a game show for exposure. The game show is The Dating Game, a show in which one woman has to select one of 3 male bachelors based only on their responses to her questions. She can't see them because they're behind a wall. I'm sure everyone knows the concept. The show has been popular in many countries locally around the world. As it turns out though, Cheryl might be in mortal danger because one of the bachelors on her taping of the show is Rodney Alcala, an active serial killer who at that point in time was in the middle of a killing spree of young women across the US. So it becomes this tense thriller where we know he's dangerous and unhinged, but she doesn't. And we keep wondering, how is this going to go? How will the show end? Will she select him? And if so, will she survive this? Or will she become his next victim? And we periodically flash back to his other murders, which is how we, the audience, get to know what happened and get to be scared for Cheryl. So this was a pretty good movie. As I said earlier, I think this story works in its favor quite heavily because it is engaging, it is interesting, and so outrageous at points that some of the details make you go, how the fuck was that possible? How was that allowed to happen? I also liked the framing device of the game show because that sets the movie apart from other true crime thrillers, serial killer stories. It's a unique lens, to be sure. And at the same time, by having other characters present in the story, I mostly mean 2 other female characters who play an important part, the movie finds a way to also get out of the recording studio and mix things up. And then I also want to mention that because all of those main characters, aside from, of course, the killer, are female, and it enhances the feeling of really putting the audience in the shoes of a woman. It's very distinctly a story told from the perspective of a woman, or women in this case, and that is a great way of building up the tension. You do feel as vulnerable as these women are. You do feel as ignored and unheard as they are. You do feel their danger. The performances are solid across the board. I thought Anna Kendrick does a good job, and Daniel Zovato is splendid as the killer. It's incredible how he can be charming and charismatic in one moment, and then with a flip of the switch, his whole demeanor becomes unsettling and crazy. His look reminded me a little bit of a young Vincent D'Onofrio, a similar looking face, but apparently there's no relation there. In terms of the technical aspects, I think it's a very solid directorial debut. You can see that Kendrick is very open to playing and experimenting with camera angles, various types of shots, using mirrors to show you characters in interesting ways. There are individual shots which look great, but there is also a sense that she's still sort of figuring out her way as far as what works and what doesn't. So let's see how she uses those lessons in the next movies, if she ends up making any. Final point, I like the production design, the clothes, sets, hairstyles all transport you into that period of late 1970s, especially the TV set and all the equipment, very well done. So yeah, I liked it. I think it's an interesting story told well, with good performances and solid tension building. Certainly an impressive debut from Anna Kendrick behind the camera. I'm excited to see more.